Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I do happen to have a yoga mat. If you are without one, find an area in your house. Maybe you've got some carpeting or you've got a sturdy rug that you can operate on. Nothing that's going to slip out from underneath you or trip you. I don't want you on hardwood floors, anything too slick or hard. I also have 2 yoga blocks. If you don't happen to have those, I've found that 2 thick books can really do the trick. Sometimes even the arm of your sofa. Use the things around you, use the things in your house. And I have a folded blanket. That could be a beach towel, your bath towel, the throw blanket from your couch. And we will start in a foundational pose, mountain pose. So feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Take a moment, reach your arms in front of you, palms face each other, and let's make some circles so we remind ourselves of our shoulder joint. We're making this circle from that shoulder joint, and so when we settle our arms along our sides here in mountain pose with our palms facing out, it's not a hunch and then a flick of our wrists. It really feels like it is incorporating all of us. Take a moment to notice an evenness in your feet, and you can lean side to side to find that. And then just to your best abilities, find the happy medium, the in-between. It's kind of ongoing. Let's bring the same sort of awareness to our inhales and our exhales. If you're able to move this towards inhaling and exhaling through your nose, terrific. If not, all I ask is that you stay attentive. Really pay attention. Notice things like the tickle of your breath underneath your nostrils and the air against your skin. The things that are happening all the time that we tend to overlook. Let's be mindful. That's really what this practice is about. To deepen the experience of our breath, let's let our breath guide some simple movement. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then exhale, just float your arms along your sides, palms facing out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, float your arms, remember, turning out from the shoulder joint. We'll add on. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees, hands to your thighs. This is a hinge at our hip. We'll talk about it in a few poses. Let's use our hands on our thighs here to push into our thighs. So you're still hinging at your hip, but you're not fooled by rounding. You're feeling a hip hinge and a long spine. Let's keep our long spine and maybe venture our hands down towards our shins. Not if it starts to crumble. Stay up a little higher so that you are interested in finding space, not convinced that getting your hands close to the ground is important. So we'll keep hinging and you'll find the sweet spot. It could be close to your ankles. That doesn't make anybody better at yoga. They just happen to have their hands a little closer to their ankles. Yeah? Slide your hands up a little further. Inhale, let's find even more length in our spine. And then take that with us as we reach our arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky, V. And we'll float our arms along our sides, palms facing out. Inhale, V shape. We're building a sun salutation. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles, but space is where it's at. Slide your hands up, inhale, even more space. Exhale, fold in, slide your hands a little lower maybe, and then inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and we stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. Adding even more, inhale, V. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, maybe shins or ankles. Inhale, slide up a little higher, bend your knees as deeply as you need to get your palms truly flat on the ground. And walk back to down dog. You gotta push your hands into the ground the whole time, promise me. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Lift your hips up like there's a hook in your tailbone. Accompany that with the push in your arms, and then all 4 sides of your waist feel long. The knees bent approach is going to help you to find that length in your torso. That is our priority. It might be that you start to straighten your legs. It might be that you bring your heels closer to the ground. I wouldn't worry about that. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Hip distance, parallel, glide your hands up, inhale. Hinge as we fold, exhale. And then inhale, rise, reach. Thumbs to the sky, a V. We pause with our palms facing out. We'll keep adding. Inhale, V. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, inhale, palms flat, step back. Down dog, maybe now your feet are hip distance, but if the wider stance is better, go for it. Come to a plank, shoulders over wrists, and then let the hook in your tailbone glide you back to down dog. You can bend your knees. Come to plank. Shoulders over wrists, we push the ground away so we don't collapse into our shoulders, and the hook in our tailbone takes us back to down dog. One more time, shoulders over wrists. This time bring your knees down. Your knees are a bit further back in space than if you were going to hands and knees. Actively push into your arms, so there's no concave shoulder blade situation. We're feeling really strong. Keep that pushing the ground away feeling. Lower all the way onto your belly. Once you're there, uncurl your toes, bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat. Traction your elbows towards you. Let your chest move through the gateway of your arms, not your chin, but your chest. Press into the tops of your feet. Let your kneecaps lift away from the ground so your legs are active. Lower down. Use a similar recipe, but with your hands next to your ribs, and we'll make it a cobra pose. We're tractioning. If this feels like a struggle, come back to Sphinx. You can always go back to a place we visited previously if that pretty much had your name on it. We'll lower down, bring your hands next to your ribs if they're not, curl your toes under in one piece, come to all fours, and then find the hook in your tailbone and let it take you to down dog. Remember, knees bent could be really helpful. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Hip distance and parallel, glide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. We inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we'll stand with our palms facing out. Let's flow that. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, bend your knees deeply, palms flat first, then step to down dog. There's a hook in your tailbone. Come to plank, shoulders over wrists, right away, knees come down. Lower, pushing the ground away, all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes, either cobra or Sphinx pose with your forearms down. Lower down, curl your toes back under, come through all fours, and then let the hook in your tailbone take you to down dog, likely with bent knees. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We are hip distance and parallel. Glide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then let's stand with our palms facing out. Remember, that's from our shoulders. And just feel how we feel so far. Stepping out wide, I'd like you to situate your props. Your books or your blocks will go off the one long edge of your mat so that we can operate with the other long edge of our mat as the front of our mat. Step your feet hip distance round about the middle of your mat, and then stand on your left leg. You could go to the wall and use your left hand on a wall. That's a pretty handy tool. Or use the arm of your sofa. And then right leg out in front of you, right hand on your hip. Feel, I'm going to turn to you so this is really clear. Feel your right hip turn out. You'll see it in your toes, and then right toes to the sky. We'll do that a couple times, like you're dancing a jig. Rotate from your hip joint, right toes face out, and then right toes to the sky. And one more time. Dance your jig, and then plant the ball of your right foot just inside the arch of your left foot. If you've resituated yourself for balance, great. Stay where you are. This could be your tree pose. You can put your right foot in the shin area of your left leg. You might put your right foot into the inseam of your left leg. Once you feel solid, and that means hug this left hip into the midline, easy for me to say as I wobble, we might grow our branches. Let it be fun. I say it often, the wobble is the win. Be willing to try. If you fall out of it, you've learned something. All good. 3 moments, let's balance and breathe. Bring your hands on your hips, turn your leg forward, your right leg forward, step down, and then step wide. So if you're elsewhere, come back to your mat maybe, and step wide with your ankles underneath your wrists. That's where we start to figure out our alignment. Turn your right leg out like we're dancing that jig we just did. Cheat your left heel back at a 45-degree angle, and then let's measure. So bend your front knee. We want a straight line from our knee to our ankle, so you may need to scoot that right foot forward like I just did. Straighten your front leg, reach your arms V-shaped overhead. This is our inhale. Bend your front knee, exhale into Warrior 2. Inhale, V-shape. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, V-shape, and now Warrior 2, let's pause. A couple of things. We build this from the ground up. You want to make sure your back foot is not collapsed into its arch and then that left knee is bent. So solid outer edge of your back foot, left thigh bone into the hamstring. Same thing, we're not sticking our butt out behind us. Hug like we're dancing, still our jig with our right hip underneath us, and then thumbs to the sky to keep our shoulders out of our ears. 3 silent moments in our warrior shape. Straighten your front leg, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat, heel, toe, heel, toe. We are hip distance once again, and we might make our way to the wall or whatever was helpful for balance for side 2. Now it is the right leg that we stand on, left hand on your hip, right hand can go on anything for help. Our left leg goes out in front, and then we will rotate at the hip joint, those toes out to the side like dancing a jig, and then back up to the sky. Twice more. Rotate from your hip, left toes out to the side, and then to the sky. This last time that we dance our jig, we plant our left toes inside the arch of our right foot. It could stay there. It might climb up to our right shin. It could be left foot into right inner thigh. And then hug your right hip into the midline and decide if you want to grow your branches. Maybe one of the branches stays connected to your wall or the arm of your couch. We have 3 moments here. Left hand on your hip, maybe both hands on your hips. Turn that left foot forward, step down and step wide, arms wide. Ankles under wrists is our starting point. We dance a jig again, turning our left leg out and cheating our right heel back. And then let's measure. So bending that front knee, we want probably a little bit more space, so we've got a vertical line. Straighten your front leg, V-shape. This is our inhale. Exhale, bend, arms wide. Inhale, V-shape. Exhale, bend, arms wide. V-shape as we inhale, and then let's settle into a Warrior 2 stance. Outer edge of your right foot, that's your back foot, solid. The arch is lifted. We're not letting there be a bend in that back leg. There's a little activity in both legs, certainly. And we've got our left hip hugging underneath us as if we were still dancing a jig, even though we're in a warrior pose, a warrior stance. 3 silent moments together here. Straighten that front leg, lower your arms, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. We've got our props at the ready, and we will be using them potentially for this pose or 2. Turn your right leg out. Remember the jig we danced? Cheat your left heel back, and then bend that front knee. Here we are in our Warrior 2. We're making sure that we've got that vertical line. Right forearm across your thigh, left arm up to the sky. We are not collapsed into our right shoulder. We've got a little oomph going on there and some space. and we're swinging our right hip underneath us, pressing our left thigh bone into our hamstring, and this is plenty. You can even keep your left hand on your hip or bring that left arm back behind you. Maybe you reach for your block, put it outside of that right foot, and either keep your left hand on your hip or float your left arm up or weave it behind your back. And now let me give you some quiet time to enjoy. Come upright in Warrior Two and then straighten your right leg. I want us to come from an upright position so we don't turn this into a side bend. Imagine, and you can take your right hand, make a karate chop into your right hip. See how my left hip lifts up? I want yours to do the same. So we're not bending here, we're letting this be hinge at our hip. Reach way out with that right hand. Likely you find your block. You could use your ankle or your shin, but I don't want you to push so hard that you go into hyperextension. So don't force your leg towards straight if you're using your leg as your prop. Left arm up to the sky, maybe even left arm behind your back here. If you think of spinning your inner upper arms away from each other instead of towards each other, that can help you find some space here too. 3 moments. We will bend our right knee, so look down at that right leg. Move your prop out of your way so it won't trip you on the second side, and then straighten your front leg and lower your arms. We dance our jig, turning our left leg out, cheating our right heel back, and then we'll bend our front knee, our left knee, and just make sure that there's a vertical line from our knee to our ankle. And then left forearm across your thigh. Right arm up to the sky. Again, we're not collapsed. We're not swinging our left hip out. We are excavating space. You could take this right arm behind your back in a half bind, or back of the hand to the small of your back, or hand on your hip if that feels better to you. And then remember, back leg, outer edge, solid. Arch, buoyant, and lifted. Right thigh bone feels like it's pressing into the back of that right leg, so into the hamstring. 3 moments. We'll come upright, straighten that right leg, and then remember the karate chop, hinge, not a side bend. Hinge, reach way out with your left hand. Find your block. If you're using your ankle or shin, please be mindful. Remember our conversation at the very beginning of this? Inner upper arms spinning away from each other can help you to find even more space. Feel free to have your hand on your hip, half bind here as well, and then a few silent moments to stretch into it. Look down at your left foot, bend your front knee, come upright into your Warrior Two position, straighten that left leg, turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. One more little shenanigan with this wide stance. Turn your right leg out like we are dancing our jig. Cheat your left heel back. Hinge. This looks familiar so far. Hinge at that right hip. Right hand down, left arm up. Then bring your left hand on your hip and consider this possibility. If you don't want to go for it, you don't have to. But take a look down, bend your right knee, move your block a foot out in front of you. You could even use the arm of your sofa. I could practically do that right now. Step up, lift your left leg. It's like a floating triangle, half moon. Maybe your left arm floats up to the sky. You've got your left leg potentially lifting and parallel to the ground. Bring your left hand onto your hip. Step yourself back into triangle if you did, in fact, step up. And then look down, bend your front knee. Bring yourself upright in Warrior Two. Straighten that front leg. Turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. Second side, turn your left leg out like we're dancing our jig. Cheat your right heel back. Hinge at that left hip. Reach way out. Take your left hand onto your block. Take your right hand onto your hip. Take a look down. Bend your left knee a bit. You can always stay in your triangle instead. Move your block a foot out in front of this left pinky toe. Consider lifting your right leg, and once you're there, maybe even lifting your right arm. A couple of moments. Right hand on your hip, step back to your triangle, so take a look down so you know where you're going. You'll move your block back with you and then upright your torso into Warrior Two. I usually get rid of my prop right about there. Straighten your front leg and then turn all toes to face the long edge. We will heel toe, heel toe. Make your way to the front edge of your mat, and as you do that, be sure that you bring your proppage with you. So the two blocks or the two books. This is another one where it might be really handy to bring yourself to the arm of your couch. So we will take a chair pose. That's not bending our knees and jutting our hips forward. That's back and down, and that's going to be important for a shelf that we make here. Remember when we danced our jig? With your hands on your hips and maybe your hands on the arm of your sofa, take your right ankle on top of your left thigh with this bent left leg. Make sure that you've got oomph in this right foot. It's not a floppy ankle. You're curling your toes back in what's called dorsiflexion. You might reach your hands towards your blocks. Like I said, it could be very handy to use a chair or the arm of your sofa. And then we get a little stretch going on here. You want length in your spine, so we find that hip hinge. And then we'll pause here and breathe into the stretch. And I'm going to give you 1 minute of silence to find it on your own. Carefully, probably using your hands on that prop, step down so your right foot is next to your left. Bring your hands to your thighs. Use your hands on your thighs to inhale and grow long. And then exhale, hinge at your hips. We will inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky. Pause for a moment in between sides. We first orchestrate a chair pose. So again, not tucking our tailbone, but sitting back and down. I like to use my hands on my props often as I set this up, but you can also keep your hands on your hips. And then left ankle on top of right thigh. Take your time, do what you need to do. Curl those left toes back, and then make your way to any place that feels like the porridge is just right as a stretch. There's a little balance. We do have some friends here in the form of props to help us stay balanced. And then let's take that 1 full minute of silent stretch. You can keep your hands on your props if that's helpful to step down, left foot next to right. Let's scoot our props off to the side, take our hands on our thighs, press into our thighs, inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees, palms flat, step back, down dog. From down dog, shift it towards a plank, bring your knees onto your mat, just knees, hands and knees, and come seated. Once you're seated, extend your legs out in front of you with a bit of a bend to your knees. Think about what we just did standing. We'll now do that seated. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. For some of us, that might be a straight left leg. Totally fine. Let your fingers face away from you, bend that left knee, and then walk your hands in and your feet in to any place where you're not collapsed and rounded and struggling. There's an openness, and we feel our hip theme here. Carefully walk your hands back, sneak that left foot forward. Give yourself the same amount of space to find our figure four, seated figure four, here. So left ankle on top of right thigh. One side might give you really different feedback from the other. Find the sweet spot on this side, and then let's just take a few moments to enjoy. Start to make your way, hands away from you, legs away from you, and lie down on your back. Once you're lying down, let's take a twist. Hips to the right, knees to the left, maybe right knee over left knee. Come through center, hips to the left, knees to the right, maybe left knee over right knee. And then back to center. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees fall in on each other. Bring your elbows close to you. Shimmy your shoulder blades near one another, so close to each other. Lift your hips just an inch or two off your mat, and then release your hips down with plenty of space. Palms turn to the sky. Either stay like this or straighten one leg and then the other. Shavasana, final meditation. Start to deepen your breath. Give yourself a stretch in opposite directions, and then gather your knees in your chest. Roll to your side and slowly come up to any comfortable seat. Maybe it's a cross-legged seat, and maybe that cross-legged seat feels a little bit more available after the hip practice that we've done. Place your hands on your heart. Take a moment of appreciation, of gratitude. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.